have to be here today. We wouldn't be here today. We have treaties in Canada, the United States, yet they don't honor them. And it's a slap in our face, in our leaders' faces, when they won't consult with us. The Oglala Sioux tribe declared war on the XL pipeline. The last time we declared war was in World War II. We declared war on Germany. But we're doing it again. And the lawyers told me, you can't do it, Brian, because you have to consult with the President of the United States. I said, then we're going to declare war and he has to consult with us. One of the things that they have to realize is that we are not going to allow this pipeline to go through. We are going to stop. And if President Obama signs it, he has to realize that he's signing death war on all of us. We a lot of people will die in the future because of this. But we have people who are going to die. Well, they're both constructionists, and he has to understand that his blood is going to be on his hand. We will not allow the pipeline to go through. And I want to thank the Tekashakon, all of the tribes, all of our Canadian brothers for being here today. And Wotulam, and I hope we all had a great week. Thank you.
Yeah. Officers, I was just walking by and they asked me to say something. But, you know, it's always an honor to speak on behalf of Native Americans throughout our land. We're all fighting the same fight, annihilation. We've been trying to do this for a very long time. They put us on reservations and told us, you're here. This is where you are. We lived through that. We're going to live through the XL pipeline because it's not coming through our lands. So Oglala here, we talked a while back. He told me something that was true. Oglala, he told me that a long time ago our great-great-grandfathers come to Washington, D.C. and signed these treaties. Brought our pipes, we smoked them in good faith to honor these treaties. The Washingtons put their hand on the Bible and swore to their God that they were going to respect our cultures, our way of life, our religions, and our people, and our lands. We ask them to start doing that today. Not only ask, we demand with these things. We are the first people. To my relatives in Canada, we're here for you. What they're doing to you in Canada, we don't want any of our relatives to live through that. So on behalf of Rosebud, we send you our prayers in Muchonazi. We want good health for all. When that comes, Rosebud will be here once again to stand with our relatives from the Northern Territories. So how, everybody be safe, have a good day.
Represent our here on behalf of our treaty leaders, our treaty delegations. We have our IRA governments, our elected officials. We have those that are recognized, so-called recognized by the federal government. But within our own communities, we also have our treaty leaders, our traditional leaders, our chiefs, are those that are appointed to also speak. And so we wanted to acknowledge them, acknowledge these relatives, and also they'll say a few words, but my relatives are about to speak. This treaty is the Fort Laramie Treaty, 1868. My relative here, he's got a relative that is on that treaty, one of his ancestors. My Tui here, there's another Fort Laramie Treaty in 1851. Her relative is on that treaty. We want to highlight that we entered into a relationship with the federal government on a nation-to-nation level. And they've acknowledged that. The federal government acknowledged that. And so I want to pass it over here to Mike and Faith.
My Lakota name is Kariska, which means white crow. I'm of the Huaka Perjuta Oyate. Those that understand what I said, you just need to know that, but we like to smile a lot and have fun. So those that don't know what that is. What my kola here said is true. My grandfather was named Conquering Bear. There's very few of us left. He was the original signer of the 1851 treaty. His name appears first on it. His name is Matoa Yuhi. My other grandfather is on this 1868 treaty. His name is Oeshicha, which means bad wound. So I come from a long line of treaty people, treaty signers. And one of the things that, like my kola stole my words over there, where is he? Was facing the other way, trying to snag. Wow. But anyway, one of the things that I was raised up on was what my grandfather then did. My grandfather, Conquering Bear, he died protecting the sovereign rights of another tribal member. They murdered him. His name was Lieutenant Grattan Tilden at Fort Laramie for protecting the sovereignty, respect, and the honors that we had a long time ago. So he died. He was murdered. But one of the things that I told my kola, Cyril over there was, it's important that the people here understand one thing. One of the things that my grandfather passed on to us, he would tell us through his children, no fear. Don't fear anything in life. He said, because if you believe in Oglala and you believe in go to your ancestors, there is nothing in the world you have to fear. It's those that have lost their way, they fear things. But through these life ways that I live, I have no fear of the Washichu, I have no fear of anything. Because there's nothing that they could do to me that has not ever been done to my people, from wounded knee on. There's no fear. These Washichus, they have fear. They have a lot of fear. They have the fear of the blood of our ancestors on their hands. They have the fear of going to hell for breaking their laws and their words. That is their fear. I have no fear. And one of the most important things that the Washichu need to understand, and all indigenous peoples that do not understand what we're about, like what my kola said, these treaties we didn't even have to sign them because a long time ago we had hoak. Our words were sacred. If I gave my word to somebody, I would die for my word. So the Washichu, they made us sign these treaties to put their word down here. And so we did. We came here, my grandfather, I got pictures of him on one of these over here. They would smoke the chanupa. They were smoking a pipe. They said we smoked this pipe. And we honor these words that God, the Creator, gave to us. We honor these words. The Washichu, when they went out there, they put their hands on the Bible and they swore to their God. They said, we will not break these treaties. We will honor you. We will respect you. And it wasn't too long longer they broke their word. So I understand their fear. I understand they're breaking their laws. All this makocheki that was stolen from us, all this land, all our relatives in Canada that suffer. I understand these things. But have no fear. Because you're doing the right thing. When we go to Oglala, Crazy Horse, all the ancestors are going to welcome us. Have no fear. No fear of anything. The Washichu has controlled us through fear. Fear of incarceration. Fear of death. No, that's nothing. Because our final resting place is with our ancestors. So that's what's important.
I am Standing Stone. My English name is Faith Spotted Eagle. I come from the Yankton Oyate of the Ochechi Chapoint. Known to non-native people as the Great Sioux Nation, and we call ourselves the people. I think it's important to acknowledge that in the signing of these treaties, as Michael said, it was not just about men or women. It was about an agreement and relationship with Creator. And we hold that to this day. We put up our hand to Creator that when we made that word, we would keep our word. And so we consider this treaty alive. The treaty that you're looking at right now bottom part, there's a bad man clause. It says that if there are any bad men that come to our treaty territory and commit any depredation on our lands, they are in violation of this treaty and they will be dealt with accordingly. And this treaty, in addition, the 1868 treaty has been abrogated in the federal court of law. That settlement was made or offered with the Great Sioux Nation and the money was refused. So this not only stands with Creator, with men, as humble as men should be, but also with federal courts. So this is already been proven to stand strong and true in federal court. And so, in fact, one of the courthouses that are around this place. So we have to stand by this treaty. The 1851 treaty reaches to the mountains, the Bighorn Mountains, all the way into Kansas, up to what we call that invisible border, grandmother's land. We call it grandmother's land because there's wisdom up there. We have to protect that wisdom at ground zero. So there is no question about the phrase unprecedented unity. In January of 2013, we created a treaty among indigenous people. We have 10 sovereigns that have signed that treaty. It's called the International Treaty to Protect the Sacred Against KXL and any tar sands development. We took that treaty to Ottawa in front of Parliament, and 6 First Nations signed it. So we are truly reigniting those fires that existed between all of the nations that were committed to keeping our responsibility with the original instructions from Creator on Turtle Island. One of those original instructions was that there will be a shaking of the earth, and that shaking is starting now. And so it's our responsibility to protect this Miniwi-Choni, this water of life that was brought here today. As a woman standing here, your first environment is in the womb. 2/3 of our body is water. It's a reflection of Mother Earth. 2/3 of water on Mother Earth. We honor our surroundings, but we have forgotten our spiritual relationship with water. Miniwi-Choni means the water of life. I represent treaty signers, but it's really important to get this message out. Women on Turtle Island never signed the treaty. We have unceded territory all over Turtle Island. It's important to remember that. We have that right to exert the womb of Mother Earth, and we also have the tools of these treaties. The 1851 treaty, we did not relinquish any of those rights that are being infringed on. There are 2 other rights to consider. This is a blatant violation of human rights. The Indigenous Peoples Declaration that was signed in the UN by many nations across this Turtle Island into South America, all across the world. We have the right, inherent right to protect our cultural resources. Thousands of sacred sites are being violated by this KXL pipeline. The last violation, which is just so unconscionable, ecocide is occurring. They have no right to organize life of what is sacred to us, the Wamakashka. The Wamakashka are the animals. We speak for the animals. We speak for the grandchildren. We speak for the women who did not sign any treaties. And we stand up for our grandfathers who did sign treaties. And that agreement was health, education, welfare. Half of the state of South Dakota was given by one of our grandfathers because these homeless people had come to our lands. We gave them homes, and this is what we get in return. And so enough is enough. This is our, it's not going to be the last stand. It's going to be the stand into the future that no more are these treaties going to be violated.
Oh!